In Georgetown, but I can go out all throughout the county doing various programs.
Great. You're going to learn more about that. She's going to help us thinking about nutrition and
Healthy living. Yeah.
that's right. Just find out more about it. And we're going to talk about Walk Across Texas, too, but we'll save that. Reverend Tina.
Hi, my name is Tina Schramme, and I serve as one of the pastors here at this church. And I am responsible for in this church, among other things, missions and senior adults. So we have a group here that we call our M&Ms, and we call them M&Ms because they are Methodists on the move. So we have a calendar back there on my table that I'd love for you're welcome to pick up, and it has our full year schedule. Now we're always adding things, but there are lots of things. But the main thing that we do every week is we get together for coffee talk on Wednesday mornings. Everybody is welcome to that. It's really just meant to be a social space, a time for you to get together with other people. And I love working with my M&M. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Do you serve M&Ms?
Sometimes we do serve M&Ms.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good. That's good to know. And you'll see when we get into our program, she's going to be talking, yes, about, because she mentioned their programs here, which are outstanding, but the general things that we can take away from that, the importance of connectedness and so on, besides eating the M&Ms. So, okay. So, as a little context for the program, if you think back to, we know that people are living longer. We mentioned that a while ago, but we want to enhance the quality of our life too, not just living longer. So how do we find out what are those secrets that make a difference in both number of years but quality? How many of you are familiar with or have heard at least about blue zones? Anybody know about, at least we've got a few people, great, okay. So to me, that's where we've drawn information from. Blue Zones is really kind of a capsule of a research project connection with National Geographic, but the point is, and actually we did a seminar on it virtually in January of 21, but there I just laid out more of the information. But what they've done is researched populations that have an extremely high number of centenarians. And there's a great Netflix documentary about it, great newsletters. I've got some of the books on my table. But anyway, the point is, what do we know about these people who live long lives? Are there things that we can take away? And so it has become known as blue zones. And they do come up with what they call their Power 9. And you go, what does all this mean? Well, it will make sense. And if you want more information about what are these elements we need to consider, we have a graphic representation on the Seniors Living Smarter Services table. And OB Helpers Calvin prepared a neat article about blue zones and how we learn from that and how that can enhance our living longer, and he did a great job with that. So we appreciate that. But what they've come up with, Power 9, but you can really clump them into 4 areas. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be looking at movement. And we're going to find out why it's not, like we say, going to the gym. If you look at these populations, because we don't all live on the slopes of a hill in Italy, so that whenever we go anywhere, we're walking up and down, would improve our health, but we're going to find other ways to do it where we live. But just the importance of movement in our daily activities. Then they talk about the importance of eating well. And, as cultures change and some of us become a little more sloppy in our food habits and eating habits, Katie's going to give us some guidance and encourage us in that area. And then the other 2 areas that Blue Zone talks about would be connectedness, and now I'm going blank on the other one, help me out, right outlook, that kind of mindset. And so we've clumped those together. Tina's going to share some thoughts about that with us. So a little background. And it's so neat to have them here. When we did a program about this before, I just shared the research and talked about it, but they're going to encourage us with specifics. So get ready for that. And we're going to start with movement. So as we said, it's the physical activity that is so crucial. And Kay, help us understand.
Thank you, Virginia. It's great to be here. I am very enthusiastic about my Silver Sneakers program and the people that come to the class. Every person in class, you always have a chair. So you can sit the whole time and still get a good workout. Or you can stand and hold on to the chair. And that's the one thing about Silver Sneakers, you do have a chair. Now, the class I teach on Friday is called a classic. You will work with a band, a ball, and weights. The weights go from 1 to 5 pounds. The band has different strengths of flexibility. The ball, we do some balance work with. We work your hands with the ball, but you'll also get a little bit of cardio. Again, you've got a chair. You can stay seated the whole time. I subscribe to Prevention Magazine, and the new issue is all about February being Heart Health Awareness Month, so I'm typing up a lot of handouts for my class. But one thing they talked about in here, as far as a good habit, was embrace strength and resistance training. That's a lot of people don't think about. They think, well, I just need to keep moving, but you need to get your muscles good and strong. You need to have the shoulders flexible. So I feel like that is very important, that you add some strength and resistance training to whatever workout program you have. Of course, moving is the main thing. Now at the Georgetown Recreation Center, we have an indoor track. It's padded. You can come and walk the track. You might check with your insurance company. You may have a Silver Sneakers card with your insurance company. So we would love to see you come to the classes. These people are so, and I know there's a couple of people from class in here, they are so social. And that is so important as part of your wellness, is socialization. I actually had to buy a whistle in order to get them to stop talking so I could start class. And I would go, we're starting, and they'd be, yep, 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 yep. Finally, I got the whistle out. It's a great group of people, and it's a lot of fun. We try and make the classes fun, and that's so important too.
And some of you live in communities where there's similar offerings, but the point being, do something. So you've made 2 points about the movement.
Right.
And we often hear what walk or something 30 minutes a day, or, but also that strengthening, and that then becomes related to balance. And let's go, okay, well, you other top suggestions, and then we're going to do our little
Okay.
participation.
Like I said, movement is so important. Resistance and strength training. But the other thing I stress in my class is hydration. When I got certified for Silver Sneakers, first thing I learned was that as seniors, you lose your sense of thirst. And you may not think, oh, I'm not thirsty, but you need to keep hydrating. And sometimes I'll bring extra bottles of water. If I see somebody without water, I'll give them a bottle. And that's very, very important. And the socialization is so important in your life, and it's part of your health, your good health.
Okay. I want to say something about the hydration too, triggered my memory here. I know we don't like the plastic bottles, but for bringing water for this group of people, it's the easiest thing to do. So we do our part to encourage hydration with having small bottles of water for you in different months. We'll have different people involved in that. This month, Seniors Living Smarter Services is providing the water for you, and we'll have other partners doing it other times. So you've added hydration to that. Do you think we should try some? Now here's the deal, people. Okay.
I'm putting in work.
That's right. So
You don't have to stand up though.
if you can put your notebooks on the floor, probably need to do that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be safe, we promise. Remember, she said you can stay sitting, but instead of just talking about going to Silver Sneakers or doing other, Kay's going to lead us in some exercise, stretches, yoga,
Right.
simple, because we've got to have other people speak too, but things you could incorporate into your daily routine.
Okay, as I mentioned, I teach chair yoga, and I incorporate a lot of balance, flexibility, mobility. I work the shoulders, the side of the body, hips, legs. So we're going to practice first on your shoulders. So I want you to put your hands on your shoulders with your elbows out. Shoulders are down and relaxed. All you're going to do, and in chair yoga, the breath is what is so important. You're going to inhale, bring your elbows forward to the front, hold them up high. Exhale, take them back. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Feel it? Inhale. Exhale. Now, roll them. Inhale. Exhale. Roll them the other way. Inhale. Exhale. Breath is a big thing because it will, I'll teach you what they call a 4-3-7 breath, but I want to work a little bit more on your body. So, excuse me. One of my favorite moves in chair yoga is what we call cow and cat. Put your hands on your thighs. Now, with cow, you inhale, you sway the back and look up. With cat, you exhale, you round the back and look down. I do cat and cow a lot because I have some tightness in my back. You can hold your countertop at home and do cat and cow. Inhale into cow, exhale into cat. So feel it in the back. You want to sway the back and look up, round the back and look down. It's a great back stretch. In chair yoga, we do stand sometimes. Well, we stand, but you always have the option to stay seated. I'll give you modifications every time. Let me see what else. Oh, working the side of the body. I want one arm down, the other arm up. Now, you're going to inhale and lean, stretch, feel the stretch on the side of the body. Exhale, release. Inhale, lean over, nice and stretch. Exhale, release. And you can do the other side too also. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, release. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, release. So one of the classes that is taught at the Rec Center as part of Silver Sneakers is also balance and stability. So that's another option for you. Well, I'm not going to have you stand up.
We're probably going to need to move on, but I tell you what, because I visit with Kay at her table to get more of these, and it was, you ought to sort of a round of applause for joining in and doing that. And if she's leading us in it, it feels good. And these are things we can just incorporate when we're sitting at our desk or reading or watching TV or whatever. But she's got great other ones. And remember the importance of balance. But all of the strengthening of our core helps us with balance and flexibility. So hopefully you're thinking, okay, what am I going to incorporate into my daily routine? Cow, cat, and these different movements. So we're going to, okay.
One thing, I want to teach you, I'm going to be back at the table. I'm going to teach you, I would love to teach you what they call 4-3-7 breath. It's a way to lower your blood pressure, slow your heart rate, and relax your body. So come see me.
Now that's a tricky way to have people come to our table. We're going to solve our blood pressure and so on and so on. So for that information, see Kay at her table at the back. So thank you, and we're going to have people ask questions at the end. But thank you very much. Appreciate that. So then when we talk about, okay, so what does it matter, exercise or eating healthy? We really need both. And Katie's going to highlight some things for us when we talk about eating wisely. And back to with blue zones, because a lot of you have heard of the Mediterranean diet, where a lot of grains, a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. We get a little overly rely on processed foods and lose some of the nutrients. And so how can we, without becoming, although some of you are gourmet cooks and you want to do all of that, that's wonderful. Invite others of us over to enjoy the meals you have prepared. But Katie, what are some guidelines or suggestions you can make?
Yeah, so I just want to highlight a couple tools that'll help us in eating wisely. So you see in your first handout.
Oh yeah, the handout. Real quick. Kay had excellent handouts. Be sure to check those out too. You're going to solve all of your health issues when you read most all of them. When her handouts. Okay, go ahead, Katie. I'm sorry.
You're good. So you see it says, do you eat poorly? So you may not think so if you eat your fruits and veggies. Be like, oh, I'm good because I'm eating my fruits and veggies. But you may not be getting the energy and nutrients you need if you're skipping meals or if you're eating the same foods over and over. So I just want to talk about a tool that'll help us in getting those nutrients that we need in our daily life. So this is My Plate. So it has taken over the pyramid, which helps us in
How
getting
many of you remember in elementary school learning the food groups? And it changes. It's like, come on. So now, getting caught up, she's
Yeah.
going to tell us
We
the news group.
see the plate, so it's kind of visually appealing to us because this is the plate that you fix at home for yourself. So this is what your plate should look like. Half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables, and the other half you have your grains, preferably if it's whole grains, and then you have your protein group. And also on the side too, I have a cup, but it's at my table. But your cup is a cup of dairy. But if you can't do dairy, like your yogurt and milk products, you can also get calcium from other fortified nutrients. That's in your handout as well, getting those calcium foods besides getting, milk and cheese and yogurt in that way. So if we look at that Do You Eat Poorly handout, you see that those nutrients there, those are the nutrients you need as you get older. So protein, zinc, and calcium, vitamin D, all of those are very important as you age. So if we look at the other tool that we can use, that's in, I think, the last handout for you. That is the nutrition facts label. I have been using this more frequently right now. I'm doing a challenge for myself to not have added sugar. So to look at that, we have to look at the nutrition facts label. So you see this on all of your food products and also on drink labels. So you see on your label that very important to look at those calories. So it has been updated recently in the past few years. So with the calories, you see that is bolded. So that is important to notice on that label. And then also is the serving size. So the serving size is for that food product. So let's say it's a pasta, so whole grain pasta. If you're not sure how much that serving size is, look at it there. So let's pretend this label is for pasta. So it's 2/3 cup. Now above that, it gives the servings per container. So that's important to note too. So on here it says 8 servings. So you don't want to eat the whole bag of pasta. That means you're getting 8 servings worth of that. So pay attention to that on the label too. So that goes with all types of food products and your drink items. So that's just using those nutrition facts labels and the My Plate as tools. Then you can, keep that in mind for building your healthy plate at home and also getting those nutrients that may be deficient in your diet right now.
And I know some of us who, if we, lactose intolerant, or we just need to cut back on some of that, but you have a nice substitution for how other sources of calcium than just the dairy products, the cheese and the milk. So that's
Right.
great to hear. Greens are rich in that. So all of that. And I have to say, when I go to the grocery store, dear H-E-B usually, and I see people studying the food labels on their packages, I am very impressed. Now, maybe I will try to learn. I do pay attention, well, so I can plan how many servings per container, but so I was thinking about peanut butter. I don't know how many servings are supposed to be. I don't think it's just eat the.
Sometimes
kind of
I think it's just a tablespoons, which is
tablespoon.
surprising.
That's a
Yeah.
serving of peanut butter?
Yeah.
That's really sad. So some of us need to do better. Okay, so just think, what am I going to be doing? And to help us get started,
Yes, there's also a handout in there for overnight oats. So it gives a couple of different variations for building your oats. So oats are full of protein and also a grain, so getting that whole grain into your diet. So it's easy to kind of build your own and get in those nutrients, some fruits, some dairy or calcium in that way. So you can kind of have fun with it too, building your oats.
and as Katie mentioned, she teaches a lot of classes, cooking for two, and she has a schedule of your classes or how people can find out more about
Yes.
that. See, some of us are so overwhelmed with some of the nutrients. How do I know? What's your first step? Even being aware of what you've told us here, what we need to look out for, and what we need to incorporate. You know, we need more potassium. We need more of this. Here's a great resource to help us with some of that. So stay tuned, and I encourage you to think about the classes that are offered through their program and help us to eat more wisely. And I like what you said, not just eating the same thing. But some people, and we also have this problem with we over-rely on processed foods rather than making homemade soup. So much easier to open a can, but I understand that may not be the best thing to do, a steady diet of canned soup. So I won't mention any names of people who like to do that, but anyway. Okay, so overnight oats, learn more about what you're eating, think about that, visit with Katie, learn more about the resources they offer. And we're going to say the other one for a minute, okay? So, okay, we've solved our problem. We're eating wisely and we're moving. We often think that's the critical part, and it is. But one of the commonalities for these large populations of the centenarians was the importance of connectedness, of purposefulness. We put the two together, attitude and connectedness. And as we're going to have a whole program on aging in place later this spring, but and I'll just put it out here, I say it a lot, yes, we want to age in place, that's fine. But I think a very critical component of that is we still have to have interaction. We have to be engaged with people. Just being isolated is not good. In fact, I know that Reverend Tina has some statistics she likes to share about that. So can you give us the importance of connectedness and purposefulness?
Absolutely. So our Surgeon General last year put out a report, and his report was the epidemic of our time is loneliness. He said that when he became the Surgeon General about 10 years ago, that he didn't think that loneliness was an issue. He didn't think isolation was an issue. But as he began to travel around the country, he discovered that indeed it was, and then he began to look at the research. What he found was that in recent years, about 1 in 2, so every other adult in America reported experiencing loneliness, and that was before COVID.
Whoa.
Yeah, how many of you experienced more or extreme or an increase in loneliness or isolation, of course, but that feeling of loneliness during? Yeah, well, I think we all did. And for some, it's never kind of gone back to a normal level of good community. Loneliness really impacts our health. This is what the Surgeon General is telling us. It impacts our health in ways that we never understood before, but it harms, we're at greater risk of cardiovascular disease, greater risk of dementia, of stroke, of depression, anxiety, and greater risk of premature death. Now listen to this. The mortality impact of being socially disconnected is similar to that of smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Wow.
That's how much it's impacting our health. Our brains are wired for interaction. They're wired to communicate. They're wired to have other brains near them. Did you know that our brains are actually communicating with each other? They are. As you sit here, your brains are communicating with each other in subtle ways. And when you're not connected to other people, when you're not in near proximity to other people, your brain, among many other parts of your body, are becoming deficient because it's not getting the interaction that it
I can
needs.
see a lot of us are going.
I know.
I thought it was bad when the computer was reading my mind, and now I'm not quite
Yes.
sure about what Kay's learning from.
Yes. A few more stats. Loneliness increases the risk of premature death by 26%. Poor social connection is associated with increased risk of heart disease by 29% and stroke 32%. Of people, the increase is really happening in two big categories: our young people and our older people. If people 66 and older in 20 years, there's an increase of 41% more being lonely. We're becoming more and more isolated as a community. And in America, where we have a very individualistic mindset, we think, I can do this on my own, I don't need people to help me. We're wrong. We need people. You see, we've needed people for a long time for survival. Right? In times past, 1,000 years ago, you needed people to help you build your home. You needed people to help defend off the bear, right? You needed people to help find your food because one person couldn't do it all. Now we have all of these conveniences at our fingertips, so we feel like we don't need people as much as we used to. But our bodies and our brains are saying that's wrong. They're saying you need to be with other people. Let's see. No, I'm licking the mic instead of my finger. So here's some things that you can do. Well, first of all, let me talk about aging in place. I know that's so important to so many of you. It's really important to many of our church members to do that. But what I will tell you, here's what we see as pastors. We see that people who are intending to maybe at some point move into a retirement facility or something similar to that,
Community.
a retirement
We're gonna work on
community,
that.
thank you, I will change my wording for you,
Thank
a
you.
retirement community or a social community of some sort, they put that off a long time. And they put it off too long. Because once they finally do it, they only do it when they have to, when they feel like they don't really have other options. And they miss out on all of the social connection that they could be having during that time period. We see it over and over again. People say, well, I'm going to move into a retirement community soon. I'm going to wait till I really need to. And then when they really need to, their health has declined so much that they can't enjoy the benefits of those communities. So if you hear anything, I want to encourage you to find ways to connect to communities. And if that means moving into a retirement community sooner than you maybe thought, I want you to just consider that. Just think about it.
We didn't even pay her to do this, or ask her to do it.
Well, we really, really do see this as pastors, and it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking to watch. And I get it, because I'm independent too. The thought of moving in, giving up that independence, not being in my own home that I've lived in forever, I get it, I understand it. But if you'll just take it from people who are working with this population over and over and over, the benefits of being in community, I promise, way outweigh all that other stuff. They really do. I want to encourage you, no matter where you are, to do things like answer the phone, right? If you're like me, sometimes I would rather text, or I would rather just listen to the voicemail and then get back to somebody later. Maybe I'm not in the mood, I'm not feeling very social. But you know what I make myself do? Answer the phone. Even when I don't feel like it, I answer the phone. And inevitably, that communication that I have with somebody lifts my spirits. So when I'm not in the mood to talk to people, you know what I need to do? Talk to people. It's the same for all of us. Make time to share a meal. Maybe that's something simple like sandwiches. Maybe it's getting together at a park and saying, let's just go to the park today to eat our sandwiches together. Anything. It can be so simple. This does not have to be complicated, but you have to make the effort. It's real easy as we get older to just sort of be in our own little bubble, our own little world. When you are with people, put that phone away. Now, this is the group I probably don't have to tell that too much to, though. I know some of you are on your phone a lot. So put the phone away, leave it in your bag, in your coat pocket, whatever you need to do, put it away while you're visiting with other people. Do things that serve other people. You'd be surprised how much that lifts your soul, your spirit, to do something for somebody else. And this can be very simple. It can be taking a plant to somebody that you split off of one of your plants. It can be just calling somebody to check on them because you know that they spend a lot of time alone. It can be anything like that. Simple. And be yourself. Be yourself authentically. Do not be afraid to say to people, you know, I feel really isolated. I feel really alone. Say this to your doctor when you see your doctor. They need to know these things. Tell people, I'm feeling like I'm kind of isolated right now. Do you have any suggestions? Or reach out to those friends that are sort of on the edge of your friendships and say, you know, I don't know about you, but I feel like I spend a lot of time alone. How about you? And if they say, yeah, I kind of feel like I do too, let's do something about that together. Maybe it's just the two of you. Maybe you decide to get a bunch of you together. Do something. Be intentional about reaching out to other people. Build those connections because they're really, really important, not just for your mental health, but for your physical and emotional health.
I'm going to stop just a minute. And so many important points. And one of the things that when you talked about community and involvement, what I have so enjoyed with these seminars is to watch people meet people here. Sometimes they're brand new people. You may not even know their name, but you kind of know where they sit. Or, you know, we share ideas. The interaction here is one great way. And I know that we have our own tribes within here. You invite your friends to come. You've got a strong group from First Methodist. Where is Lori? Schwank? Am I not? Oh, okay. She's always recruiting new people, and a lot of others are too. But the importance of sharing information and support groups, that's one of the neat parts about the Downsizing Club. It's that interaction. We meet monthly, we share stories, we learn from others. So there's so many ways. Take a step to be involved. And I'm sure you can visit with Tina, and obviously she's got great resources from here at First Methodist. Your own churches have resources. There are lots of things in our community. Later on this year, we're going to have a program about purposefulness and a lot of the volunteering and so on. So get involved. And what you said is so important. Take action before you have to. And, you know, we miss out on a lot of good things. And I know there's stories out there, and people from our communities and other situations can tell us that. Okay, we're going to move into question and answers now. And if you have a burning question now, if it's a specific thing about your own situation and what you can do to improve your mobility, it can probably be a general statement, but some of it may be more individualized. Oh, mic runners, that's right. So another one of our new things, and did I mention early on that, yeah, we were the water sponsor, Seniors Living Smarter. Visiting Angels was our pen sponsor today. Thank you, Visiting Angels, for providing pens for people who needed that. Another activity that we have, mic runners. I know, we always struggle with how to do the mic. Brielsa, Virginia. I cannot go from the far left to the far right. And so Josie Zamora with Care Partners to Caregivers is one of our mic runners today. So, and Brielle from our office is a mic runner. So they'll be bringing the mics to you. We're going to learn how to do this yet. Questions that people have. Thank you, Linda. Okay.
Katie, I was wondering, you mentioned that you had cooking classes for 2. Do you have cooking classes for 1?
Good point, Melinda.
Yeah, so the cooking for 2 class, it is for cooking for 1 also. So it can go for cooking for 1 or 2.
We talked about that when we visited this week or like whenever we visited, and then we learned to I cook, but how I can save my meal and to plan ahead. And some of us who go out to eat and we bring in all the leftovers and we leave them in our refrigerator too long. She has words of wisdom about that. But some of it, I think I would, yeah. We may see some people at some of her cooking for 2
Yeah,
classes.
so we'll cover like meal planning in it and also some tools for like a freezer friendly kind of pans or tools to use for your freezer if you do have those leftovers.
And some of it will be kind of easy. We don't have to become a gourmet cook then. I mean,
No.
Thank you. Okay, but make sure about that. Ralph has a question.
Hi. Is there any validation to a high protein, low carbohydrate diet where you minimize the carbohydrates to 54 or 55 per serving?
So that is really up to you and your doctor talking about that. I can't say it, for professional speaking. I'm not a dietitian, so I just have to promote getting all those food and nutrients from the My Plate, getting those food groups.
I think the important part is we do see all these diets, and how do you sort through? It's hard. I mean, and it so often the answer is it depends. It kind of, lots of factors. But I've seen some really neat results from keto. Some of the diets are more healthy based, but fair question. Talk with your medical care provider then. Oh, so Ansha Bisk from Comfort Care joined us as a mic runner today. Okay, other questions? Okay, over here.
Can you briefly explain that 4-3-7 breath?
Okay, we go for it. You don't learn to breathe?
Yeah.
Right?
In yoga, all your breath is in the belly. So what I want you to do is put one hand on your belly, one on your chest. You want to feel the belly expand. And what you do is you do a 4 count to expand the belly. You hold the breath for 3, and you exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You always exhale at least twice as long as you inhale. I had one of the women that comes to my class told me that she had to have an MRI. She'd never had an MRI, but she did the 4-3-7 breath, and it helped her relax. It brought the blood pressure down, slowed her heart rate, just relaxed her body.
Thanks for asking. Other questions people have? Yes, over here.
I just saw this on here that seniors walk across Texas, and that hasn't been mentioned.
You are so smart. Thank you for reading. Was it on our yellow sheet where you saw that, or it may be in the handout? Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. You're right. Good, thank you. It's on both places. You go, well, how do I do the action step if I don't know what the action step is? You are so right. So we're going to start with Katie explaining Walk Across Texas generally, and then we're going to talk about Seniors Living Smarter part of that. Okay, let's Walk Across Texas, Katie.
So Walk Across Texas, it is an 8-week physical activity program, and it's through AgriLife Extension, so through my office. It is a team-based program. You can be in for a team up to 8 people, and there is a team captain on each team. So you are every day, trying to walk more, or, just a little bit at a time. Don't go overboard, all at once, but you are putting it in, counting your steps and putting that into an online system, so you can, see where your team is at trying to walk across Texas.
And the walk across Texas was how many miles?
It's
And remember,
8:32.
we're recording our activities that would be equivalent to walking. Okay.
So it's 832 miles. So you do get across Texas in the 8 weeks. So it's fun to go through it.
So what we are wanting to do, I'm looking at Brielle, I hope we explained this correctly. When I visited Katie in her office last week, and she just happened to mention that, and I'm going, wait a minute, that's perfect. We're trying to encourage people to be more active. And I could hardly finish the conversation because I'm going, oh, I see all kinds of possibilities. Yeah, all kinds of possibilities. I tried to calm down before I talked to Brielle because she's good at trying to hold me in check. But she even thought it was a good idea. So we are proposing, I hope we'll have at least 8 people. If we have more than 8, we can have multiple teams. That we have a Seniors Living Smarter Walk Across Texas team. Now, the program itself starts the 1st of March, but if you're going to be interested, and you go, well, I don't know exactly what it means, just express interest and you'll get more information. So we'll do more, but if it's a way, back to the kind of community aspect that Reverend Tina talked about, we'll do some kind of group things to help encourage people. And you say, well, no, I can't do that much walking. You substitute other activities. Tell us some of the...
If you do any gardening in your backyard, that counts as activity, or, doing some chores, just any type of activity counts towards your activity minutes.
So we will have more information for you next month. And I just think it would be fun to have and so this morning, Katie said, we have to have a team name. Come on, we have a team name. Seniors Living Smarter. And if we have more than 8, well, we'll figure out what to do. Team 1, Team 8, I don't know. We'll figure that out. It'd be a nice problem to have. Bill, you want to add anything? Oh, does she need a mic? Yeah, you need a mic.
Standing right next to one. You'll have this month and next month. It'll be on your feedback form. Excuse me. And if you turn that into me, then we'll get everybody registered in the next 2 months so we can start in March. So it is a standalone that you would be tracking, but we will do some team type events together.
We'll be cheering from the kind of virtual sideline. I mean, so it's yeah. Or maybe we'll get so brave we'll actually have a group get together to do something, at least kick it off. Who knows? We'll find some people to support us. So, yeah, but I thought it would be fun. And, if we wait to have it all fully developed and explained step by step, often we don't get it done. So trust us, we entered into this because I kept saying, Katie, what's the date? What's the date? I mean, you can do it any time, but still you have a program, kind of a launching. And so she said, I promise I'll have it by Thursday. So thank you, Katie. March 1st, and you can look online for Walk Across Texas. We'll come up with some fun things to do with it, encouraging you to be more active, okay? And I bet for people, we do, how many of you go to Silver Sneakers? I know they've been saying, some of you are just reluctant to raise your hands, okay? But for those of you who go to Silver Sneakers, you can convert that into, how does that count for miles? So there you already got a head start for us. Okay, other questions? Okay. Hopefully your mind is spinning about what your takeaways will be. Did you have something you wanted to add, Reverend Tina?
Yes, I'd be remiss as a pastor if I didn't say that research shows that attending a faith-based service 4 times per month will add 4 to 14 years of life expectancy to you. So I don't say join our church, but I say get involved in a church community if you're so inclined. There's nothing like a good church community to help wrap around each other and take care of each other. And I encourage you to pick up our calendar back there for the senior adult activities that we have going on.
Yes, and back to Blue Zones, that's one of the things they talk about for these people. There was involvement in some type of community of faith. And we all have our different beliefs, culture, and so on. But that connectedness, that support, so on. So thank you for mentioning that. Okay. All right, so what I do want to say now, and I'm going to let you all go and move to your tables because sometimes we don't do that in time and people get caught up here. Let's give our panelists a round of applause. Thank you. And be sure to check out their resources, and I'm sure Kate can give you some more movement exercises too, and anyway, lots of information there. Okay, and I'm going to, educational partners, I'll let you move on over to your tables too while we're doing this. So, hopefully today in your packet, you have one of these. Longevity Secrets. Embark on your Renaissance journey. I told Brielle, Renaissance is going to be my word for 2024. We're using it a lot. So we are trying to encourage and support you. Last New Year's, some of us not, set New Year's resolutions. Some of us set resolutions, but have already forgotten what they were. But we want to support you. And I don't remember if it was Facebook or Nextdoor or whatever, but there was a great thing that came up probably January 2nd about when you're driving today, named a community, be aware there will be many more people out walking today. That was on a Tuesday. But don't worry, the problem will be corrected by Friday. Just you figure that one out. But we want to encourage you to take action, to be involved and take advantage of the resources here. Now, I mentioned that if you have come to all 22 seminars, we have some who have been pretty close, and you put all your materials in your binders. Yes, I know your binder is full, because mine is full. So it presented a great dilemma. What are we going to do? So, yeah, what are we going to do?
Volume 2. So if you have a full binder, I know many of you do, we will have new binders with the volume 2 on them. It's got our educational partners for this year on the back and the calendar in the front. So you do not need to pick up a new calendar or the educational partners forms. If your binder is not full and you can still fit a few more months in there, we ask that you do that. But we do have the new calendar for this year that you can slide into that front sheet in the front of your binder, and then also so you have contact information for all of our educational partners for this year. If you'll pick up one of these, and this slides into the back of your current binder. So
you're on the honor system to determine if your binder is full.
If you're adding to your binder, or if you really need a binder, volume 2. So we'll take care of you. If you are new, or if you need a reminder, in the back of your packets that you received today, there is a yellow sheet of paper. That is a feedback form. If you would like for us to register you for next month, please make sure your name is on there and check the box, because having one bit of information and not the other doesn't help. Also, that Walk Across Texas, if you're interested, there's a check for that. Our downsizing club, so there's a few different things. If you are not on our mailing list or email list and you would like to be, make sure that you're checked for that. So turn that into, there are 2 of these gold baskets around, so just make sure that you drop those into us, and we'll take care of your registration and getting you on all of our communications.
And another little surprise, we don't usually do the, giveaway Chusky kinds of things, but we, with our Renaissance approach, live a vibrant life, It sort of reminded me. How many of you went to Vibrant Living in 2019? A number of you did. It was a one-day empowerment event. I had led that cause, and it was great. And we were planning 2020, and that's when we hired Brielle, and we had great plans for 2020 in April. And in February, Seniors Living Smarter ordered 500 bags for Vibrant Living. Well, about the time the bags arrived came March 13th, which was kind of that shutdown, and no Vibrant Living in 2020, and eventually we just disbanded that group because we do our monthly seminars anyway. But I have a lot of Vibrant Living, Seniors Living Smarter bags, so we will have those out on the table. They're great for putting your binders in.
Volume 1 and 2 will fit.
Yeah, they will, absolutely, could put it in there, so we'll do that. So, okay, before we do, we're going to do something else. We're in this mood to do things different today. How many of you learned something today? It may be that your brain is communicating, and that's really bugging me. I got to figure that one out. But you know, there's simple things we can do. But I hope that you're taking your action steps. So what's the name of our seminars? Seniors Living. So hopefully each time you become a little smarter. So we're going to end when I'm going to count 3, and we're going to say, I'm smarter. Okay? You can do it. It's okay. You already did movement today. All right. 1, 2, 3. I'm smarter. So thank you for joining us today. Next month, we will be together again talking about driving. There are going to be interesting discussions about that and how we can help you drive longer, what are precautions, and so on. Come to find out. And any other questions, let us know. But please visit with our educational partners. We have great resources over there for you. And stay warm next week. We're going to, oh, that reminds me. I'm so, Josie has a couple things at her table. She is always thinking about helping her seniors. And she brought in from the city of Georgetown some information about emergency numbers. And visit Josie's table. She has these handouts. And also, we just don't want to go through the blizzards we had recently. But an application for chronic condition or critical care residential customer status. For those of you who might need assistance, whatever, Josie can explain all this. But I think it's so wonderful when our partners bring in resources. And she said, seniors need all this information. Broken pipes, we're without power, whatever. And hopefully we'll be all prepared and won't need it. That would be the best thing. Anyway, so visit Care Partners to get more information about this. And thanks for being here. See you next month.